We begin with the narrator of the film Dolomites at a rap concert. He freezes the action and then speaks of how this violent tale is gonna hurt. We meet Liz Estrada, vibing on the front row, swaying to bloodlust lyrics performed by Chi-Raq, her beau. The subject matter of this song is a warning shot to a rival gang. Them threats get a quick receipt when that thing go bang. When the dust settles, two young cats are stretched out. No big surprise when that's what they're rapping about. Back home, Chi-Raq is doing his own recap of the night's mindless, maddening, murderous haps. Liz Estrada prepares for the smashing that's about to begin. She learns that all this mess was over some cats and their feelings. The couple begin to heat up the sheets till they smoke. Yeah, they putting it down, but the house ain't burning from a damn downstroke. The roof is on fire like Rockmaster Scott in a Dynamic 3, but not from sex, but by the hands of Chi-Raq's #1 enemy. Trojan gang leader Cyclops is the culprit. He speeds out. Chi-Raq pursues and returns fire, making that heat bleed out. Dumb shit jumping off in a residential neighborhood. This brings out neighbor Miss Helen to make sure everyone's good. This is Estrada asking for help in the middle of the street. The reason for this violence is to her left, the one holding the gun, about 2 feet. Back to Dolomites, and he talks about the crisis in the Chi and about how Liz Estrada is so fine and so fly. She walks down the street and takes her place on death row. Some gangster went off and stopped an innocent bystander's blood flow. Liz Estrada ain't swaying or bopping like the last time we saw her on front row. Supporting her boyfriend's work could be the problem, but y'all ain't ready for that though. The mother Irene arrives and sees her child lying there. Ain't nobody seeing shit. Time to load up on them thoughts and prayers. Irene points Liz Estrada out of the crowd cause she be knowing that a girl be running with a cat that keeps this bullshit going. Liz Estrada shows up on the doorstep of Miss Helen with her bags, hiding out from a stray meant for a man. That's a red flag. She puts butt to seat and they begin to chat about what happened last night. Helen's daughter, they leave it at that. Helen opines on the crime. She rewinds her mind, cause this violence wasn't the norm back in her time. America loves its guns and the logic plays out as it should. A violent country begets violent neighborhoods. No one's safe cause the chaos is hard to contain. Now them shooters getting active in white schools, man. But enough of the what's, who's, and whys. Helen zooms in to focus on Li's boyfriend, Chi. Liz Estrada knows him as Demetrius, a black man misunderstood. Miss Helen knows him as that boy across the street that ain't up to no good. Liz Estrada got it in her head that she can change her boo. But we all know, the devil don't change. The devil changes you. Liz Estrada got love blinders on. Thug passion got her wild and loose. Helen floats the idea of what might happen if Liz Estrada cuts off the juice. See, the sisters in Liberia stop having sex to stop a war. What if the sisters in the Chi did the same and locked the barn door? Liz Estrada starts her campaign of chastity with a friendly recruit, but her next move is a more difficult pursuit. She pops up on the steps of Indigo. She's the main squeeze of Cyclops, Chi-Raq's #1 foe. Their men got beef, so they got beef. Indigo and her girls are ready to loosen some teeth. Tempers are subdued and Liz Estrada advertised. She done came up with a plan to save their men's lives. Indigo and her girls are responsive to hear what she got. That's until they learn that it's some sort of dick boycott. Liz Estrada explains that it's not just to save their men, but it's also about the collateral damage left time and again. Indigo agrees to buy into this stunt, but it ain't got a chance of working without a united front. It's gonna be a tall task to get all women on board. You know them hoes don't ever pass up a chance of taking what's yours. Dolomites lays out the terms and conditions of what these ladies have devised. A locking block move that's gonna blue ball these guys. Chi-Raq and his Spartan gang visit the hangout spot. Ain't nothing but hard legs from the bar to the parking lot. They try to look away, but it's something they can't ignore. Brothers are dancing with themselves out on the dance floor. And when Cyclops and the Trojans pull up at the strip club, there ain't a tit to flip or an ass to rub. Freaky online streaming might work in a drought, but ain't nothing like when that thing is sitting right there in your lap. Looks like they're in a mega church and they're putting little Patty to rest. Mama Irene on the front row with grief on her chest. They got some solid gold dancer lookalikes. And next out comes some white cat preacher named Father Mike. He humming and hawing like he about to preach a down south sermon. But watch out now, old boy done pulled a gun. Father Mike begins to preach how this gun moves with ease, from the manufacturer down to the hands of the perp that squeezed. He explains that this loss of life will continue without the tribe screaming whenever a grieving mother shouts. But if nothing is done, this becomes commonplace. They march the little sister out to a resting place. Lysistrata and the women have a sit-down with Father Mike. He expresses his initial doubts about the effect of their strike. While withholding the booty is a worthy contribution, to stop the blood in the streets is going to take more practical solutions. Gotta start with the human needs, food, clothes, and a place to stay. Then back that up with education, infrastructure, and jobs to pay. The sex strike is beginning to expose some cracks. That's the literal opposite of these girls' physical attack. One of Chi-Raq's soldiers questions him on the purpose behind this lifestyle. Shoot-em-ups, drive-bys, in the streets acting wild. He warns Chi-Raq that death might even come up short. He could take a bullet and end up living hard life with no support. While driving by an armory with recruits working on discipline, Lysistrata has a spark of inspiration from within. She approaches the drill sergeant, they call him General King Kong. She tells him she wants to enlist, but acting like she wants to get it on. Lysistrata's returning the sexual innuendo like she ready and able. Old cat ripped off his pants like a baller checking in from the scores table. The old bastard got on some drawers with the stars and bars. Lysistrata keeps yanking the chain of this Yankee-hating Admiral Akbar. The general's ready to play out this interracial skit, calling Lysistrata a stallion and other racist shit. Then again, maybe I'm tripping and being holier than thou, cause some folk out here calling themselves stallion now. Lysistrata's got Kong relaxed enough to allow him to be blindfolded and handcuffed. He gets worried when she goes silent when she should be handling his stuff. Upon removing his blindfold, Kong is rudely awakened. All his recruits have been bound and taken. Dolomides is back to speak on the dilemma if you happen to be black. It fucks with your reflexes when it's time to act. On one hand, you got them boys out there kicking up dust. But if you call them folk for help, shit, they just might bust. The strike has spread it outside the radius of just the young folk. The older sisters done stopped the strokes, making brothers choke. Miss Helen calls a meeting to get the women in line, and across the board lockdown to save our kind. And the OGs have assembled to address this racket. This kind of civil disobedience shouldn't be affecting their age bracket. They decide to take their fight to the streets, where unused rubbers and the road meet. The geriatric hips are standing in unity with the young honey dips. And in the other corner, the OGs, they're trying to put distance between themselves and these young G's felonies. The lines have been drawn and ain't nobody getting it on. Strike that. Chi-Raq is getting it in from behind. He done found a scab across the picket line. His pops passed when he was young and alone he stood, till a cat that was pimping his mom taught what little he know about manhood. Inside the armory, these ladies take a vow to be like nuns. They done went and bought some chastity belts off of Amazon. Commissioner Blade arrives on the scene. His chief runs down the reason why these sisters are raging against the machine. Blade is a little miffed at the ability of some unarmed sisters to take over a military facility. Blade runs the info up the chain to the mayor and he's got a plan to appeal to the women's need for a man. Hit him up with some Jodeci and a little Keith Sweat and whatever. Gonna have him fiending and make it last forever. Irene is in the streets trying to get some justice to set things right. A $5,000 reward. Ain't a mega church backing her? I don't know, 5,000 seem kinda light. She's determined to do everything she can, even the job of the police, hooking up with Father Mike on a walk for peace. Dolomides is back to speak on Commissioner Blade's plan. Gonna go psychological and test these women's stand. The speakers are set up to begin a quiet storm. It's having an effect. Look at them guns, they're getting warm. But Blade didn't anticipate the boomerang effect. Aw hell, the slow jams got the brothers on the outside dancing as well. It's one of them grooves that they couldn't pass up. Meanwhile, on the inside, the women are face down and ass up. Lysistrata counters with a quick do-it-yourself trick. She done found some earplugs, and just like that, Blade's plan got nicked. Dolomides comes back to drop a book in, while Blade's plan failed and its effect on the men. Chi-Raq drops in on his gang and them boys are in despair. Chi-Raq has no sympathy cause he's still getting it in, so he don't care. And on the flip side, Cyclops' gang ain't got no will to kill. That hit on Chi-Raq gonna have to wait until they get some nana that's ill. Back at the armory, one of Lysistrata's girls done broke rank in the vow that she swore. She hands over the chastity belt keys and let the men in the back door. Duke tries the intimidation approach, trying to flex nuts. But Lysistrata stands her ground like what? Then Duke tried the insult approach, trying to put her in her place. That earned him a just cause slap to the face. Lysistrata goes back to explain of what they're trying to achieve, but between getting lectured to and the threat of more physical violence, the men just leave. And the mayor's getting tight with Blade since his plan was a bust, cause now at home, he's suffering just like the rest of us. Cat went to Party City and spent good money for a role play outfit. only for his wife to pull that no sex shit. Chi-Raq entertains to sit down with Father Mike. The father tries to take a shot at whatever humanity is left to strike. His words are dismissed cause Chi-Raq insists to be a neighborhood menace, out here drilling holes in crowns like a bootleg dentist. Father Mike proclaims his godly love for Chi-Raq. That's what fathers do, hoping that some of that do-right preaching somehow breaks through. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, it was worth a try. Chi-Raq leaves to sit down and Blade is standing by. They arrive at the spot and introduce their counter-strike. They put their new secret weapon, Chi-Raq, on the mic. Chi-Raq challenges Lysistrata to a sex competition, something like some sort of carnal exhibition. If he wins, the strike ends. If she wins, the peace begins. The showdown is set up like a pay-per-view. Prime time is coming to a climax near you. We're gonna use the rules from the bare-knuckle era long ago. The days when fights went on till they couldn't fight no more. No judges, just battle till you can't sustain an attack, whether it's by a limp dick or a broken back. Chi is pretty confident that he's gonna prevail, cause busting down Lysistrata is something he kinda know well. This being an unconventional fight, they roll out a brass bed and dim the lights. The mayor and Blade settle in and watch the championship. Being married to a black woman got the mayor being loose with his lips. Chi getting shaky, losing focus of the mission, talking mad shit, wishing for submission. They make contact, no need to prolong. And like Mills Lane used to say, "Let's get it on!" In the darkness, hidden from eyesight, the two engage in a flesh fight. But before too long, the room lights. It's Cyclops, and he's joined by men from both of their cliques. He tells Chi that the fellas done already decided the outcome of this conflict. Cyclops would rather have his woman than to mow down Chi-Raq in these streets. Chi-Raq urges him to hold on. He about to work some magic in them sheets. It don't matter, Cyclops is out. If there ain't no beef left, what you still fighting about? And with that, the G's march off, leaving their guns on the bed, headed out the door to go get some leg. We jump ahead and the guns have been removed from the street. The warring sides have agreed to peace. The mayor is announcing projects that will benefit the folk, and all this begins with the movement of a pen stroke. First the mayor, then Cyclops signs as required. A reluctant Chi-Raq is over there just so he don't get fired. Lysistrata signs and there's only one more signature needed. Chi-Raq decides to bounce cause he just can't see it. As he makes his way out, a group of mothers stop his progress. Each holding a poster of a child has been put to rest. Miss Helen is also there with a poster of the daughter she lost. The girl went from jumping rope to dead when the bullets got crossed. Chi-Raq is feeling the heat and begins to act out. Accountability's on his ass and he can't back out. Helen tells Chi-Raq that she knew his father. As a matter of fact, his stray bullet is what killed her daughter. Back then, child murder was against gang code, so Chi-Raq's father had to give what he owed. He approached Helen and begged for her to forgive. He turned himself in, but that little girl should have had a chance to live. A shaken Chi-Raq turns to Irene. He chokes on his words before falling to his knees. He then confesses to her that he was the one to blame. Accident or not, it don't erase her pain. Irene's grief spikes through the ceiling. Blade grabs Chi-Raq and marches him out of the building. Chi-Raq challenges all the other street predators to confess, make a sacrifice for the next generation and clean up their mess. Father Mike and Lysistrata made progress despite that hitch, and she still got hope for Chi. Ain't that a bitch? Shouldn't be surprised it's not a real shocker. Probably see her ass on the next season of Love and Lockup. Last word goes to Dolomedes and it's not too demanding. He signs off with a call for love, tolerance, peace, and understanding.